when the pandemic shutdowns happened, my dad had recently passed away. It was sudden, in the middle of a fight with cancer. And my elderly mom was so deep in her grief, she was not accepting any help or support from any of us. I was working from home full-time with 2 teenage daughters, also stuck inside in a small house with an open floor plan. It was rough. So when the universe offers you a gift, you take it right away, right? And my pandemic gift came in the form of an offer from our dear friends and next-door neighbors. They were gonna ride out the pandemic shutdowns at a second home in Tennessee. They wanted to know if I wanted to use their adorable, sunny, cute little laundry room as my home office. There was one catch. They asked if I could watch their lizards. Now, I hate reptiles. It's just been a phobia I've had since a child. It's embarrassing to talk about because it's completely irrational, but it's very intense. And right there in my sunny pandemic oasis was a tank with 2 elderly bearded dragon lizards. And I mean, I've always been scared of them. They were always frowning and giving me the side eye. I tried feeding them a few times. I wore these huge contracting gloves and used chopsticks so I didn't have to touch anything. And they were so old. They just always looked dead. They weren't breathing, they weren't moving, they just always looked like they were dead. So I'm not gonna lie, those first couple of days in that office were a little rough, okay? Think about it. I'm back there 8, 9 hours a day, 3 feet from a tank of lizards, and a laptop. I know nothing about reptile health or behavior, so I'm just Googling everything, why are they turning orange? Why is their face coming off? Should I help peel their face off? Do lizards need lotion? And then feeding them was so hard. They're just so old. The worms would just jump out of their mouth and run away and escape. I'm do lizards need dentures? Is there Insure for lizards? Why is this so hard? But after a little while, we kind of fell into a rhythm, and I would get there in the morning, think they were dead, and when I jumped on my first Zoom call and started talking, they'd hear my voice, and they'd kind of wake up and start moving around a little bit, which was kind of cute. And then I finally mustered up the courage to just pick them up with my bare hands, and when I did it, I really looked at one of them, and it was just so old and fragile, with this delicate bones and papery skin. And that side eye looked wise to me and knowing. And at that moment, I decided I was gonna be the best elderly lizard caregiver ever. Ever. I gave them baths, I took them out in the yard. Their skin and color started to look amazing. I figured out how to feed them. I came up with all these techniques, and every time they successfully chomped a live worm to death, I would Snapchat it to my family with heart emojis and party hands. They were horrified. They were completely horrified. I feel the pandemic, I reached a turning point when there was just, I don't know, there was tension in the house, yelling, stress, and I just remember leaving the house, it was night, and the next thing I know, I was having a martini with the lizards. I mean, please think about this for 1 minute. I was having a drink with Onyx and Jade. And then 1 week, Jade kind of started to slow down. She was getting pale. None of my lizard caregiving tricks were working. And one night, I had been trying to feed her for an hour after days of her not eating, and she kind of just put her head down and crashed. So I gently put her back in the tank, and the next morning, she hadn't moved, and she had died. And my worst elderly caregiving fear had come true again. My poor neighbors, they were consoling me, which is ridiculous because this was their lizard. They were no, it's okay, thank you so much, we really appreciate it. Also, she got a great life. Can you also dig a little hole next to the garage and kind of handle that? I get it, I get it. It wasn't my fault. I shouldn't feel guilty. And, I need to just accept that dying is a part of living. It's not something to be constantly fought and feared. So the next time I saw my mom, we were all stressing out about her nutrition, didn't seem like she was eating, and I just decided I was gonna drop it and hang out. And I noticed her feet were looking very neglected, needed some TLC, so I decided to give her a pedicure. So I put that warm soapy water on her feet and rubbed it, and she kind of perked up. And I massaged lotion into her toes, and she was just so happy. And I held her feet in my hands, and they were just so old and fragile, with delicate bones and papery skin. This is a life that has been very full and lived in those feet, and still living. And in that moment, I just had this moment of total gratitude and understanding. So when I ask myself how I made it through this pandemic, I have to smile inside because I changed, and I love lizards. Thank you.